Boys and girls, it's happening. After a long-fought 6 games, the Toronto Maple Leafs have fought their way back from a 3-1 series deficit to even the series, sending us back to Boston for a decisive Game 7. Incredibly, this is the 4th straight time that a Boston-Toronto series has gone all the way to 7 games, and this one figures to be another absolute banger. But even more so than years past, both fan bases have a lot of reasons to be sweating ahead of Game 7. And as a neutral fan, that just tickles me pink, because it's going to be an absolutely incredible, meme-filled ending, regardless of who wins. But which ending, Toronto or Boston coming out on top, is objectively funnier for all of us who don't have a rooting interest? In other words, which team's victory will produce the most memes and chaos for the rest of us? Let's pro-con this shit. So let's start with the Bruins pulling out the series win. Right at the top of the list of reasons that this would be the best possible outcome is that they would have somehow managed to dig up the last scrap of hope that Maple Leafs fans didn't think they had, and still crush it into oblivion. Like, there was no way that Leafs fans had any hope going into Game 5 of this series, or even Game 6. Charlie Brown's seen Lucy pull away the football all these times, but now it just looks so appetizing, and for the Bruins to pull it away, ooh, that would be some cruel yet delicious irony. Next, a Toronto loss is going to lead to a ton of off-season shenanigans. Is Mitchell Marner getting traded now? What about Tavares? What are they going to do in goal? Are they going to blow up the core? Is Sheldon Keefe coming back? Toronto going down, I'm sorry to say, Leafs fans, is just best for the rest of the league. As an added bonus, the Leafs losing would send most of the national hockey media, aka mostly Toronto people, into a tailspin, which is just beautiful to watch. I mean, if Toronto loses this Game 7, Steve Dangle's show is going to be appointment viewing TV. Our timelines and vid feeds will be flooded with hot takes and updates for the next month easily, not even related to the ongoing playoffs if the Leafs lose. Leafs fans would also collectively melt down. That's always fun to watch, even though at this point it is getting a little bit cruel. And finally, a Bruins win means they immediately leave this series to face their still lurking demons, the Florida Panthers, coming off of a bit of rest with a chance to rip out the Bruins' hearts Kano style. Okay, but what about if Toronto wins? Well, first of all, that means that Boston fans do not get another championship, which is just always a good thing. Brad Marchand will not get to lift the Stanley Cup as a captain for at least 1 year, and I think we can all agree that that's a good thing. Toronto finally gets that monkey off their back of not being able to beat Boston, which is kind of cathartic for them and fun to watch in the sense of, like, kid finally stands up to his bully and just beats the snot out of him. There won't be a ton of chaos within the Boston organization, but Jim Montgomery is definitely getting fired if they blow this 3-1 series lead again. Plus, now we would get a whole another offseason of debating about whether he mishandled the goalie situation again. And finally, if Toronto was to win, that would mean that Boston becomes the first team in NHL history, as far as I can tell, that would have blown 3-1 series leads in back-to-back years. That is just absolutely astounding, especially when one of those years was not just a President's Trophy year, but the best regular season of any team in NHL history. And we would have to start questioning whether or not the Boston Bruins deserve to wear the choker label after all of this playoff disappointment. So which of these outcomes is better for us as neutral viewers? I'm gonna say Toronto winning is the better outcome. What can I say? As somebody who's watched his own team blow 3-1 series leads like they're candy, it's very cathartic to watch them actually overcome their demons and get through to the promised land. Plus, we might get to see Brad Marchand cry yet again, which is just always fun for the rest of us.